Hi everyone, welcome to this week's TBT Transfer Talk. On the day where Liverpool beating Borussia Dortmund 4-0, how good does that sound? Um, yeah, we've had quite a busy week again in regards to transfers. Another player in Wednesday, Javier Manquillo arrived on what is apparently a 2-year loan deal with an option to buy. There's been some confusion about the clauses and what can happen this upcoming summer. Apparently, there's stuff about um, we can either sign him or this summer, or he can go back, and but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I think it's more of a try before buy sort of thing, really. And on today's evidence, I think we'll certainly be looking to buy him. I mean, Rodgers said it was his sort of right back, and yeah, he was really athletic, very strong in the tackle, and he got forward. He was positioned quite far forward today, so looking forward to seeing more of him. It does look as if he's ahead of Enrique and in the pecking order at the moment. Obviously, no Flanagan and Moreno seemingly imminent. So yeah, this week I forgot to mention you. This week joining me, I've got at on the volley underscore.
No, no underscore now. I've
Oh,
actually
is it
got that
gone?
on the volley.
I'm sure I was tweeting. I'm sure I was tweeting with you with an underscore at the end. Was that wrong?
No, you've got me right. On
Oh,
the volley.
excellent, jolly good. So yeah, he's joining me this week to discuss everything. You, I assume you like everyone, you haven't seen much of Manquillo, Adam, but I think you was on. You wanted another right back in, didn't you?
I think it's long been known that me and Glenn Johnson do not see eye to eye, and I just don't really want him at the club anymore. But yeah, I'm happy to have him in. I must admit, when the interest was rumoured, I did do what I hate, going on YouTube and just seeing what there was. He looks tidy from what I've seen. But he looks like a decent young right back who amazingly knows how to get back in position. So he's miles better than Glenn Johnson already for me.
Yeah, he was like I say. I know you didn't get to see much of the game today, but he was really good today. He's very athletic. He was winning a lot of headers actually, and he linked up really well with Henderson on the right. And it's looking as if, I mean, you've also got to bear in mind he's only had 2 days training and he fitted in really well and defended well first and foremost. And obviously that's what Rodgers likes. And it's certainly looking like he'll be in the starting lineup next week. I suppose Flanagan's injuries helped him out a little bit, but yeah, that was good. Another player in. That's 7 now. And it's looking like the player that everyone's expecting next is Alberto Moreno, the left back from Sevilla, who we've been after for like months.
How many
Um,
times has he been on the verge of a move?
yeah, and it's exactly the same tonight. I think Sevilla have got this Super Cup game. They've obviously got to play Real Madrid on Tuesday night in Cardiff, and most people are saying that that's the hold up, and he's going to play that game and then eventually join. But it does seem pretty inevitable that he's finally going to come our way. Um, did you see much of Al Moreno last year, Adam? Or
I watched a little bit of him when Sky had the Sevilla games, and obviously they played the other night, and I watched a few of the highlight clips there.
mm,
He's the type of left back we actually need. But then,
yeah,
before I kind of go on about Moreno, he is actually the player that sums up Twitter for me. That we get linked with a player through, through the news accounts and whatnot. People then go mental that he hasn't been signed. Um, Immediately and raise their expectations of all the players we're going to get. Like, Twitter could say a story from ITK, the agent 44, that says we're going to sign Messi. We then don't sign Messi because it's a stupid 14-year-old making up stupid rumours. And then Twitter goes mental because we haven't signed Messi. Um, he has been that player. Obviously, it's complicated, the negotiations. As much as people give Ian a stick, I imagine for him to carry on doing that job with FSG as the owners, he must have at least a GCSE in English to carry on, or a clue. And because he seems to have gone to Spain twice now and not come back with him, people are like, oh, Ian, crap, he doesn't know what he's doing. There are difficulties in negotiating deals, and you have to deal with them. But I am glad if that deal gets done, and when he gets given a Liverpool shirt, I will be very happy to see him in it, for the qualities he can bring to the team. But let's wait till he's in a Liverpool shirt. You know, he could go play Real Madrid and break his leg knowing our luck.
Yeah, very true. It's not done till it's done.
Exactly.
We've got a tweet in from @MaybeNotIre who says, please put to bed the dirty rumours that Suso is being used in the Moreno deal. It's tragic if true. Well, the latest on that, those rumours popped up again earlier in the week. It was almost a month or two ago now that the rumours came up that we were trying to get Suso in this deal. They popped up again earlier this week, and there hasn't really been anything solid on it, to be honest. Nothing from the English, sort of the Tony Barretts, the James Pearces, etc. on that. It's all come from the Spanish end, and we've sort of learned over the last, month or two that the Spanish lot aren't the best ones to listen to. So it's a possibility, but there's really nothing solid on it in terms of James Pearce, like I say, Tony Barrett, Andy Hunter, etc. The Merseyside-based reporters haven't reported it at all. But it does seem like that deal's going to go through. I'd be really happy with that. I've said on here before, I really didn't think at the beginning of the window, if you'd have said to me we were going to get Alberto Moreno, it looked as if, the Chelseas, the Real Madrids have been looking at him. But if we can get that one done, our defence looked really solid today, and if we get that done, we've got some really good options at fullback, and some improved options at centre back as well. So that'd be good to solidify the defence. So moving on, there was just one thing I'd like to mention. There's some reports that have come out in the last sort of 10-20 minutes or so, that Bordeaux are looking at Thiago Ilori. There's been some stuff about Agger leaving this week that we're going to come on to, and the Toure stuff after it looked like he was going to stay. Apparently Trabzonspor in Turkey have popped up again and want to take him, and obviously we've got Quatters as well, and so it remains to be seen who's gonna leave out of them centre backs. But Ilori looks like he'll be loaned out. Adam? Who would you like to stay in terms of that crop? As we've got the Lovrens, the Sackos, and Skirtle as the three main ones. Who do you want to stay on and provide backup and competition?
I actually think Coarthas deserves a go. The issue is that he has I think he had that Oldham game, got dropped, and every essence of confidence just left him. And I watched the tournament when we were getting linked with him, and he was very, very good. And he's a young centre back. Young centre backs, by the way, make so many mistakes. It's unreal. But you have to just blood them in and deal with it. And I do think he could either do with a season with us, kind of getting given the odd chance in League Cups, or getting loaned to a decent side who are going to play him. But I think Colo has to be thanked and moved on, and we can remember such great moments as West Brom away and Fulham away as our time with him. But the issue is that when it comes to our centre-backs, and you have a debate about Agger, is the heart goes, I love him. He's got, you'll never walk alone tired on him, and he's just Liverpool through and through. But we can't have a centre-back who wants to start, who cannot play, 28, 30 games a season. He is made out of rice paper. His hamstring will go, or his knee will twinge, or something will happen with him. And I think it's getting to the point now where, as much as you can put the emotional case forward for him, the business case, I know that sounds terrible, is that Agger is not, he's not worth it for the money that he's on, for the playtime that he demands. It's just not really I think Liverpool need to go forward from Agger now. This is, I think we're living in the days where Daniel Agger will be moved on, and I'm kind of sad that Barcelona have signed Vermaelen, because it would have been nice if he'd gone there if that link was real. And I'd say he's actually a better player than Vermaelen, who's equally as injury prone. But yeah, I do think we're living in, soon to be post Daniel Agger Liverpool, really.
Certainly looking like it, especially with Lovren playing on the left side of defence today next to Skirtle. You've obviously got Sacco as well. So Agger definitely looks like he's going to be moved on. We tweeted out earlier, with Daniel Agger's exit from the club looking inevitable, are you happy to see him moving on? At underscore false number 9 says he's been a great player for us, but time is right to move on. Too far down the pecking order now. Tom says sad to see him go, but on the flip side, happy for him to go somewhere he'll get game time. Great servant for the club. And Cameron at Red from New Zealand says glad he's going a bit too far, but the timing is right. He was a great player for us, but has been declining for around 2 years. Cash in. I think that sums it up pretty well. It's just where he's going to go. The links this week have been to Napoli again, because it seems like they're selling their centre half Fernandez to Swansea, which opens things up a bit. So Benitez, obviously the link there. He's supposedly looking at Agger. Lucas has also been linked with them today.
That's a shame.
Yeah, we'll move on to that in a bit. So yeah, the centre-back stuff's going to be interesting. Like I say, Laurie's been linked with Bordeaux. He's been linked with Deportivo today as well. So I'll have to wait and see with that. Like I say, Lucas linked with Napoli today as well. If he was to go, Adam, though, do you feel we'd be a bit short in terms of? I know we have got Emre Can, we've got Joe Allen, we've got Henderson, but Lucas is obviously a holder. Gerrard plays as the first choice holder. And if Lucas was to go, do you feel we've got adequate cover for Gerrard in that position?
No, to be honest. I think
we need to bring someone else in.
Yeah, I do think we need to bring someone else in. I thought that last season, to be honest. Like, I know our defence got absolutely rinsed last season, and I'm probably one of the very few people now who comes to Mignolet's defence a lot of the time. But most of our problem last season comes from holding mid and fullbacks, and we've sorted out fullback problems to stop crosses coming in, hopefully. I'm sick and tired of Liverpool actually conceding crosses. But our holding mid, especially in our system, needs to drop in and actually be mobile in that, like, becoming a centre-back. The system we want to play. And you kind of think when you see Lucas there, you kind of crap yourself, to be honest, because he's not mobile enough. Like, since that knee injury, his legs have just gone. What little pace he had is just not there. And his general positioning has become pretty woeful, and he still does the joyful thing of kicking people on the edge of the box. I think if we are going to go into the new season, Gerrard's a year older and he will not be retiring soon. I will keep repeating to myself until the day becomes true that he does actually retire, but he will not be retiring soon. We kind of do need someone else there. Just because what we're playing, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League, 4 competitions, men, and you need someone, especially in holding mid, who's going to be battling quite a lot, going to get chucked into tackles. They're going to pick up knocks, and you kind of look past. If we lose Emre Can and we lose Gerrard, Joe Allen cannot play there. In no way is he physical enough. And then you go, you put Henderson there, and then you kind of lose Henderson's legs further up the pitch. You're just struggling. I think you could make a business case for Liverpool, and good Lord, I hate that bloody term, of signing someone who'll be there for a year or two. He's like 30, 31 and can just play in that role. It's one of them of, we definitely do need to bring someone in if Lucas goes, but then the if Lucas goes is the hopefully he will. I don't mean it in a horrible way for Lucas. I've pretty much loved him the last couple of years, but he's just regressed a little bit. It's probably time for him and Agger, like we were saying earlier, to kind of flush him out. And maybe if Benitez does want to rebuild 2008, 2009 Liverpool, and early 2009, 2010 Liverpool at Napoli, that we sell them to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting today. Just a point that's worth bringing up with this. We played a 4-2-3-1 today, and Henderson was based out on the right. And first half, Gerrard and Can played together as the two, and then at half time he brought on Lucas for Can. So he actually had both Gerrard and Lucas on the pitch. They were both sort of as deep as each other, really. I suppose you could say Lucas was probably a bit further forward. He was involved in the build-up for the 4th goal, and so maybe if we're going to stick with this 4-2-3-1, which after beating Dortmund 4-0, we used it against City and we looked really good with it in pre-season. Rodgers might sort of want to stick with that. Also gets Coutinho playing his favoured number 10 role. If we're going to stick with that, then maybe there's more of a case of him staying, playing with sort of 2 holders, if you like, and then having the 4 in front.
I reckon he's probably done that though. He's probably played Henderson out there because he's got Manquillo playing out there for his first game, and coming back gives him a little bit more protection on the right hand side, and Henderson
Maybe,
can
yeah.
tuck in. But I just think when you watch Liverpool games, when Lucas either comes on or he's started, the tempo in midfield is so slow. The ball being moved from side to side just slows up, and I think going to Italy is actually a superb move for Lucas. It's so much slower that he'll have the time on the ball that he needs, and I just think in the Premier League now, since he's lost his legs, and you can say it about any player, it's not a negative thing to say about him, but you can kind of see a little bit that he doesn't quite like heavy tackles now. And after you've had an injury like that, that's going to happen. I just do think it's time to move him on, and he's on decent wages as well.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. We tweeted out tonight whether people would want Lucas to leave. Kevin O'Sullivan says, definitely not. He's a solid, dependable 7 out of 10 all day, every day. Gerrard won't play every game. We definitely need Lucas. At NateB_LFC says, I'd probably sell him unless he is comfortable with a backup role, then keep him for depth. At Mr. KP89 says, I'd definitely not sell him. A resounding no, unless we can find another defensive midfielder to replace him. We have to keep him. At Liverpool FC SE says, if we get a good offer, then yes, I would sell, but no if it means lending him to Napoli and still paying a big part of his wages. That's a good point, because Rafa loves a loan deal, as we've seen. He's coming for a couple of our players on loan since he's been at Napoli. So if he comes in with a loan deal, I'll reject it and I'll keep him, because as we've said, he's not going to play every game, so we do need someone there. So we have to wait and see with that. Moving on then, we'll move on to the striker stuff, because this is what everyone wants to know at the moment. You'd probably say the biggest void in our squad at the moment is, we've got Sturridge, who's immaculate, who's going to start. We've got Lambert, who's, not going to be any more than backup and a good option off the bench, you'd think. We need another striker. It was going to be Remy. Who's it going to be? We've obviously still got Barini. The latest with Barini, Gus Poyet said a couple of days ago that he's still confident he's going to get him. He said he knew the hold-up was expected when he got his shoulder injury. I wonder if Liverpool are sort of waiting to land someone else before letting him go or something. But we'll have to wait and see with that. But I'd still say Barini will go, especially if we sign another one. You just can't see a role for him really. And he's loved at Sunderland and he's wanted. So that's the latest with that. We'll have to wait and see. Other than that, Adam, I mean, it's obvious we do need a man there, don't we? We've also this week supposedly had an inquiry for Falcao, only to be told that he's off to Real Madrid. So what do you make of that? And what sort of striker do you think we'll bring in? And what sort of striker would you like?
I'm kind of loving the whole striker talk at the moment, I must admit, because everyone kind of keeps retweeting or posting odds of signing, Falcao, Cavani, Benzema, every striker under the sun, and it's kind of building up, like I was saying before, like the false expectations of what striker we're going to go for. That because betting companies have gone, oh, Liverpool need a striker, and they've got loads of money from selling a striker, they might spend a load of money on an expensive striker, so they put the bets down, put the odds down even. And people then go, oh, well, that must mean that it's going to be happening. I don't think we'll get a big name, to be honest. I don't think we're going to see a Cavani. To be honest, and I'm probably going to get slated on Twitter here, I wouldn't want Cavani because they'd have to change the system. He's terrible in it too. Falcao, stop it, you're drunk, is pretty much the best way of saying it. As I'm pretty sure his release clause is going to be a hell of a lot of money that Liverpool do not have. And I don't think you'd ever see anyone willingly make the move from Monaco to Liverpool. Their docks are a hell of a lot better than ours, let's be honest. When it comes to the type of striker that I'd like, one that scores lots of goals. Someone go find one of them and go and sign them, and that's pretty much the issue when it comes to strikers these days. But Liverpool have got to look a striker who's going to play next to Daniel Sturridge, and simple as. If they can't
You
play
think
next to
so?
Daniel Sturridge,
You don't
that's
think
it.
you don't think we're all right bringing in sort of a backup guy, maybe someone that can contribute with 10, 15 goals a season, and maybe also play in a wider position?
I think the 10, 15 goals is what they're going to aim for Lambert to influence in, get involved in, sorry. And I do think they might even keep Jordan Ibe to play out wide.
Mm.
I think it's going to be someone who's either going to be direct competition or he's going to have to play next to. And if I'm honest, I think it is going to be play next to Daniel Sturridge. And
What about Wilfred Boney? That name's still going about.
um, the issue is, I know I've got Steve Hoare on a text, and he will just text me when I say this, but I don't really want him. I think there's a lot of money. We'll want decent enough wages for a player who I think plays in Sturridge's position rather than complements him. But if it comes down to 10 minutes before deadline day and he gets wheeled out, then I'll kind of be happy that there's a striker there. But I think Liverpool kind of have to be careful on what striker they get here. They've got a lot of time to come to these decisions, and I don't really want it to be like a Andy Carroll type. We've got a load of money after selling our star striker. Let's just go splurge it on someone who fits the bill slightly. I think it needs to be an informed decision. And do you know what? Right, I will genuinely make this comment. If Marco Reus joins this club, I will give someone my season ticket.
Not going to happen, mate.
It's
Definitely.
not going to happen. Of course, it's not. It's stupidity. But the whole striker issue is just a difficult one, isn't it? Because people are going to go, "You're not Luis Suarez," but in reality, we've already sorted out the issue of selling Suarez by making our defence a lot better.
Mm. Yeah, true. I mean, the striker. There's been another striker we've been linked with, Icardi, the Inter Milan number 9, who scored 9 goals in 22 games for Inter last year, and supposedly, quite a talented Argentinian. I think he's 21 still. I think we were linked with him when we went for Aspas.
Oh, that was a good deal, wasn't it?
So maybe he's one we've looked at before. Maybe he's one we'll go for. I think the Inter president has said today that they've already rejected a bid for him. Of something
Was it like 25 million euros?
Yeah, Monaco have been linked with him as well. So I wondered if that might be a goer, but the money we're talking about is quite a lot. He is Inter's number 9, and yeah, I'm not sure that would happen. So it remains to be seen who it's going to be, really. Like you say, Cavani stuff's come up. His agent has said that we've supposedly made an inquiry as well as Arsenal, and the fact he said Arsenal just makes me think that's definitely rubbish, because I couldn't see them going for him, to be honest, considering the money and considering they just brought in Sanchez. So yeah, that's probably rubbish. It's the same situation as it was next week, really. Apart from the Icardi stuff that's come up, the Falcao supposed inquiry that came to nothing. It's exactly the same situation as last week when we did this show. No one really knows who it's going to be. We were asking earlier, does it need to be a wide forward on Twitter? At Redcool94 says, yes, we do need someone that can play wide too with that striker. That way he and Sturridge can interchange positions to confuse defenders, just like Suarez and Sturridge did last season. At Tub Snow says, with Markovic, Lallana and Ibe, it's not necessary. Just need a strong goal scorer with the ability to complement and substitute Sturridge. At RWH Writer says, I think it probably is essential that that the striker we bring in can play in a wide role. Don't think we will often play 2 up front, but we do need cover and options. So yeah, if you look at the squad, I think Jamie Carragher made a good point on the Anfield Wrap the other week. He said, ever since we've had Cout, we've never really had, Barini is probably the wide forward in the squad at the moment, but he's obviously probably off and doesn't look good enough. In terms of proper natural wide men we've got, you'd say Sterling and Markovic are the 2. You've obviously got people like Lallana, Henderson, and Coutinho that can play out wide too. And then you've obviously got your 2 strikers in Sturridge and Lambert. So there's no real wide forward there. So Remy would have been that and I do wonder whether that's what they're looking at in the striker that they're going to go for. So, like I say, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, by this time next week when we're doing this show again, there's been some points and with some indication on where we might be going with that. There was an article in the Echo that we're just going to move on now. There was an article in the Echo earlier this week that said we looked at Julian Brandt, I think that's how you pronounce it, the German youngster, plays for Bayer Leverkusen, I believe. Very highly rated sort of attacking midfield player, but he's only recently moved there, and he's not really, it's not a priority position at the moment, attacking midfield. So that might be one to keep an eye on for future windows. Us going for Brandt, supposedly very highly rated, so that's one to keep an eye on for the future. We've almost discussed everything really. Just a few things, the other things that have happened this week. Connor Cody has left the club to go to Huddersfield. They started their season yesterday with a 4-0 loss to Bournemouth, and their managers left today. So, did you see much of? There's been some quite good comments, some nice comments from fellow players and coaching staff that have gone Cody's way this week. Adam, I mean, he was, he was the captain of the young sides for quite a while, and he was at one stage highly rated. And he's a proper scouser. He's supposed to be a nice lad. So, were you surprised to see him move on? I mean, he played a bit over pre-season.
It's typical. It's John Tosmobile syndrome, where they're good players, but they're not quite good enough. And it seems like through the 90s and the 2000s, we just churn them out. And I think Cody's possibly one of them. I think to go up, he'll have to go down. I think he will actually be a decent little player.
I think so too.
But I think he needs the game time, and he's obviously never going to get it at Liverpool. And for someone, he can be played as a bit of a utility player. He can play at the back, he can play at right back, he can play in midfield. I think going to the lower leagues will suit him well, and he'll hopefully impress someone, and he'll come back up. And you never know, as we keep getting told by every single commentator in history. Ricky Lambert once played for Liverpool and got released, so you never know. Connor Cody might be a person who annoys us through pre-season as we get reminded that he once played for us and now has come back. You never know, but I hope he does all right at Huddersfield. Obviously, not the ideal time to have gone there. Having had the manager, and I think he was there for 16 months, and they told him he was going to be the man all year, and then after one game they got rid of him.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
I think he'll do all right there.
Yeah, I agree. He is quite a good player. He was really good for Sheffield United last year, and at that sort of Championship, low Premier League level, I think he's a really good sort of player. He played a lot for us over pre-season. He came off the bench for Huddersfield yesterday. I mean, he only signed on Thursday, but I expect to see him sort of establish himself as a regular there. So he's gone. Other one that went this week, Pepe Reina. We've been talking about where he'll end up, and that's been sort of one of the biggest stories of this week. Bayern Munich are the club he's gone to, which shocked quite a few. He's gone from one bench to another, really. Well, except he didn't even get on our bench over pre-season. So what are your thoughts on that, Adam?
I'm glad that he's gone. I know that sounds horrible. I said good riddance on Twitter when he went. For me, he was fantastic up till about 2010. He was a good keeper, and then he just slowly went downhill. He was one of them. He flirted with Barcelona, made little comments, thinking he was bigger than a station for me. So I will, wish him all the best. Sitting on Bayern's chairs, they're very comfortable, and I hope he has a long and fantastic career for many years to come, doing absolutely nothing. Because I'm very shocked that he's gone to Bayern to sit on their bench, because he's never going to get Neuer out of his place. But yeah, he wasn't the keeper he was, and I think the people who have felt angered by him being moved on and Mignolet still being in goal are possibly the ones who subscribed to 2006 to 2010 when he could actually save a ball. What was it? 110 grand Christian Purslow gave him.
Yeah.
Him and Roy Hodgson just keep on giving, don't they?
Absolutely. He was definitely. I think that was the main thing about getting rid of him. He was the wage. the wages he was on is quite extraordinary, really. So, yeah, he's gone off to Bayern Munich to link up with Pep Guardiola and co, and we'll see how many games he plays. Just to round off, then another one that went this week was Brad Smith went to Swindon on loan. That's been sort of tipped for a while. And we'll finish with a question we've got in from Michael Flatman at McFlat, who says, "Do you believe Tim Vickery when he says we are getting a big name player in?" Now, this has been, I'm not sure if you saw this actually, Adam. It came yesterday. Tim Vickery, who was everyone's favourite person on the BBC for the World Cup this summer, said he was asked on an interview, I think it was on TalkSport, about Liverpool's supposed interest in Falcao, and he said that he doesn't often hear from agents, so he says, but one rang him up yesterday and said that Liverpool fans should be very excited because there's a big name player coming in to replace Suarez, and he didn't seem to know who it was. He said, "I doubt it's Falcao." Is it sort of questioning, which makes me think it is rubbish, to be honest. So yeah, the question is, do we believe him? Adam, do you believe Tim Vickery?
Well, a big name player, for me, that could be they're going to be, already established world class, or they could just have a long name.
I can't think of who it's going to be. I mean,
he's South America, isn't he? So it's either going to be someone out there, or it's going to be someone who's been out there and come back, or as long as it's not bloody like Robinho, I'll be fine. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, the one we've been half thinking about is Lavezzi, but I don't doubt that. After his antics earlier this week, which Twitter people all around the world may have seen.
It might be Fred. He was good at the World Cup, wasn't he?
I should hope.
Oh, Jesus. You never know. Tim Vickery's not exactly the type of person to chat crap as well. He's usually he's a very interesting person to listen to for the fact that, he doesn't give a crap how many followers he's got on Twitter because he's a very informed man on football.
Yeah.
But then it could be bloody someone who's just happened to find his number and just give him a stupid phone call. You don't bloody know, do you?
Exactly.
Just wait till they're old and just wait till they're leaning. If they're leaning, they're a Liverpool player. And till then, just chill out.
Absolutely. Good way to finish the show, I think. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Adam. Another really good show. We should be back end of next week with another transfer roundup. Hopefully by then we've heard, I should think we should have heard some significant news on Moreno by then. Hopefully positive stuff. Hopefully we'll get a heads up on the striker situation. And maybe we'll have some more departures. There's been 3 or 4 this week. And there's still likes of Quartes, Barini, Asaidi was at the game today watching on. How depressing is that?
Asaidi's still here?
Yeah, he is.
Really? Jesus Christ.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have some news on sort of the Deadwood going out and some news on some imminent new signings as well. So thanks for joining us and we'll see you next week.